Let's name East Coast states: North Carolina, South Carolina, Coastal Carolina. It's definitely not a state, but it's hard to say that the Chocolatiers made anything but a statement on Tuesday. Plus, big games from Mississippi and California round off the midweek chatter before we pick games from Weekend 12 on this episode of College Baseball Now.
Yeah, ain't no problems, ain't no problems, that won't problem with me, no. Yeah.
Let me talk to the chat. They know I was gone for a minute, had to BRB. Had to grab a couple wins, what I DID. They sleeping on the kid, I had to do it BIG. I can never be average, and they want a problem with the boy, they don't want no static. I don't need your cosign running with God. Wanna test that, tell them what's happening. Took control, run the game. Best believe I'm shining dog. Counting in my wins, yeah, I love it when they count me out. Off the leash, of the chain, boy, I been the dog. Best believe I run the game, you know I'm in control of y'all. It's like magic, believe I want that static. Yeah, it's like magic, believe I want that static. Yeah, it's like magic, believe I want that static. Beat them up, knock them out. They really don't want no static.
We're ready for the weekend. Hope you are. I guess that makes us weekend warriors. Everybody's working for the weekend. Pick your favorite one at home. Hi, it's College Baseball Now, and we are here to talk with you about Weekend 12. Starting with me, your friend, your host, your boy, Drew Wheeler, Director of Amateur Scouting at Prospects Live. Glad to be here with you and glad to be here with my friends. Starting with the gentleman in the middle of your screen. It is not Josh Catlett. That's normally his spot, but we have got Quinn Martin. Quinn, welcome back. 2 episodes in a row. It's like you're becoming a featured player, maybe our favorite guest star. I don't know what you want to call it, but we're happy to have you.
Happy to be back.
Yeah.
I'd like to be here as long as we can.
Absolutely. Quinn, we were talking earlier about one of the most relaxing things I can think of, which is just a good shower. I'm curious, what's a non-negotiable staple of a good shower for you?
It has to be really hot, but not that hot where it burns your skin off. It has to be hot enough to enjoy.
Love it. Hey, that's good. That's a good one. And on the right side of your screen, it is the man who helped coach from first base, I should say, the Arcadia Knights to a home field advantage. Mac Freedom, is that right?
That's it. Mac Freedom.
Mac Freedom Tournament. It is Coach Jake Bargery. Jake, you said you looked like a unit. I thought you looked buff and good at first base, brother.
Man, I appreciate it. It was about 50 degrees during that game that you sent me the screenshot of you were watching. I had on about three Under Armour layers, a hoodie, and our like BP top on top of it. So I mean, I guess buff is I guess I'll accept that to be the descriptive word for how I looked there, I guess.
Absolutely, it was. We're glad to have you here, man. Really quick, Jake, what's a non-negotiable for a good shower for you, man?
I mean, I don't know. There's only so many things that go into it, I guess. I mean,
True.
the water temperature, I guess, is the biggest one. I agree with Quinn. I can't do a cold shower. I've tried it before. Like, I've heard they're like good in the morning, take a cold shower. Some people do it. I'm just not. I can't do it. I've tried it multiple times. Water has to be hot.
I have to be in the most mood of all moods for a cold shower, and it's rare, so I get it. I'll tell you guys this: my favorite move to do is hot shower, and then maybe like a flashlight or like a candle sitting on like the sink, and cut the lights off with the hot water. Now that's relaxing. That's nice. Enough water, enough light so you don't like trip and fall and break your neck, but like just dark, quiet. It's very nice.
Just like set the mood a little bit, huh? Before you get in the shower.
Yeah,
it's all about self-care. Yes. It's all about self-care, Jake. I'm glad you're picking up what I'm throwing down there, man. Speaking of picking up what we're throwing down, did you guys catch in the intro, which I nailed on the first try? Don't you even, none of you dare. Did you catch how we talked about the first game we're going to speak about, Coastal Carolina, North Carolina, in a midweek? A lot of places, including us at Prospects Live, had this as a top 10 matchup. Coastal Carolina, Jake, ended up beating the brakes off of UNC. The Tar Heels got kind of steamrolled in a sense by Coastal. I'm curious, man, what do you think the big story was with this one?
Yeah, Coastal obviously very, very good team, top, 10 to 15 team, depending on where you look. But I don't think anyone would have expected them to go into North Carolina and do what they did. They won the game in every way that you look at it. Obviously they outscored them by 10 runs. They outhit them by 9 hits. They didn't make any errors. North Carolina had a couple of those, just big performances for Coastal up and down the board. Blake Barthol, 4 for 5, Rex Watson 3 for 5. They had extra base hits. They were they were getting on base at any way that they could get on base. And I think you guys talked about it, which I wasn't here last episode. I think you guys talked about the North Carolina, their kind of midweek pitching plan that they usually do. They usually use a lot of guys like Jackson Rose. It wasn't his best start. Had a couple walks, gave up a couple hits, only allowed 1 run. So I guess you would kind of take that. He battled through some stuff there, but just almost every other guy that came in after that gave up runs. Walker McDuffie struck out 8. Gave up a couple in 4 innings, and then they had a couple guys there back to back, didn't even get an out. I don't know. It was a weird game, but Coastal, they did their thing. They took care of business down there, and props to them.
Absolutely, they did. It was very much business being taken care of. Quinn, last night we had a team call. JB joined us at the conclusion of this game. He said several naughty words in describing how North Carolina played. I'm not going to repeat it here on the family-friendly show, but Quinn, JB, none too impressed with the way North Carolina played. We'll get to them in a second because Jake, with the awesome softball pitch to me, to pitch to you here, Quinn, Blake Barthol hit for the cycle in this game. With his 4 hits, amassed every one of the ones you can collect. That is not true. He did not have a home run, excuse me. But 2 singles, a double, and a triple for Barthol in that game. All the more impressive. I'm going to say it's even more impressive specifically. We know he can hit home runs. Incredible game for Barthol. But, Quinn, my question to you, of this North Carolina team, who stood out as maybe being a positive amidst the 10-run loss?
There weren't many. But I think McDuffie going 4 1/3, striking out 8 is definitely worth noting. Given that he's mostly coming in the latter parts of games, looking to close them out. And then Cooper Nicholson had a home run. Outside of that, not a ton.
Yeah, McDuffie, any longtime listeners of the show know that McDuffie is a Drew favorite. Just in this game specifically, Quinn, you called it out, 8 strikeouts. That's 42% strikeouts of the guys that he faced. He faced 19 batters. And now, granted, we can sit here and say, okay, one of those free pass, 4 of those a hit. But then 42% of the guys that he faced, he punched out. That's impressive. And I think it speaks to what McDuffie kind of is as a pitcher. Up and down this list of UNC pitchers, though, Jake, you kind of said it. Jackson Rose, Folger Boaz. There's dudes here who we expect better out of, and it just might have been just kind of a clunker up and down the Tar Heels pitching staff, man.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. Not really typical of them. Matthew Mateus. If this is true, I think this is true. 3 pitches, 3 hits allowed, no outs. Gave up 3 runs. Also, I don't know. It was just obviously not what you want from him. But Folger Boaz not being able to get anybody out. Seagraves, he 2 runs, only one out there. I don't know. It was weird. I don't think that this is going to linger for North Carolina. I think they're obviously going to be just fine. But when you talked about the grand scheme of things with with positioning and RPI and all that kind of stuff, Coastal's not going to have a ton of chances left to boost that RPI. And then going into North Carolina and getting this kind of win against a team that's ranked as highly as they are is definitely going to bode well for them when you talk about resumes and everything at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Quinn, just off the top of your head here, man, when you consider that Coastal and UNC are likely to be hosts, kind of just piggybacking off of what Jake said there. You don't think this is a like some kind of harbinger of doom for UNC now, right?
No, certainly not. I mean, they certainly it's clear they wanted to win this game, given that they threw McDuffie for so long in a season-long outing, I'll add.
Yeah.
Mateus obviously has been a high leverage arm. Boaz hasn't had the biggest year, but I mean, these are 3 high leverage arms for UNC that they expect to produce.
Yeah.
But no, it's certainly not going to carry over. But to add on, though, I don't want to play Coastal Carolina right now.
I can't think of a team that would want to in good faith, because obviously last weekend we saw him return, but now we know that they have the biggest weapon across the team back in Cameron Flukie. So yes, as time wears on, it's looking more and more dangerous in Conway. If you get that draw, then it's not going to be a pretty one. You may escape it, but it's going to be by the skin of your teeth, and it's probably going to get ugly. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, and it's all the better for us to watch and observe and talk about. Let's move on, though, to Mississippi, Pearl, Mississippi, as it were, because the Governor's Cup has been decided. It is the Bulldogs of Mississippi State taking a 7-3 victory over the Ole Miss Rebels. This one had a little bit of interesting action going at Trustmark Park. Quinn, I'm curious, looking at this one, what do you see as being the deciding factor, or maybe the story of the game? Because I look at it and see, wow, Mississippi State kind of put foot on throat and did not relinquish that lead.
Yeah, I think it all came down to just Owen Kelly's start. He's been a reliable midweek starter for them, coming off a really good start last week, and really just didn't have it today this week. And it's going to happen, but obviously don't want it to happen in a rivalry midweek game. But yeah, he just kind of got hit up. A couple singles in the first few innings, driving runs in, double. Just, yeah, not a good start. Obviously couldn't generate much swing and miss, given he had no strikeouts across 13 batters faced.
No, you're absolutely right, man. You think about, Jake, the Mississippi State lineup, and I know just from paying close attention to them, seeing them in person several times this year, that they have found a combination of hitters that they very much like at the top of the order. And I think that 5th guy being Jacob Parker, they call him the pride of Purvis, the dynamic freshman. He really came through for him early as a nice single through the right side of the infield to score Garrick Fry. That really got it going, but then Bryce Chance right after him, a gentleman who I would dare say is honestly probably more known nationally for his glove, but has really come through clutch for Mississippi State. Kevin Maluski just added on to it. Malou from behind the plate just really kept it going, man. I think what I'm getting at to you, Jake, is this may be the most scary Mississippi State team that we've seen. And this is just compounding on the fact, dude, that earlier in this year, this was like a top 5 team. I think they're scarier now that they've been punched in the mouth and they're showing they're still alive.
Yeah, I agree. And with your point about, I don't want to talk, too much about the lineup. We're going to get into Mississippi State pretty early on, I think, here. But I agree. I think they had to go through some things to kind of figure out what they have to do to make things work. And not, after looking at this game, it really looks like they've figured it out. And just on the game, like in general, I think this was kind of like, so Ole Miss comes into this one. They had kind of an exhausting weekend against Georgia, where they obviously they won the first game against Georgia and then lose the next 2. And then they have the reward after that series of having to play against Mississippi State, who again, we're going to talk about it, but they obviously sweep LSU last weekend. So like 2 teams kind of headed in opposite directions. Like I think it just kind of a result of the last weekend where both like one team's hot, one team's cold. But yeah, I'm right there with you on Mississippi State. And then like Quinn talked about, the Ole Miss arms like Owen Kelly did not have his stuff, but they also, were obviously pitching to win this game. Like Will Libbert, I think he's thrown a lot of innings for him. Landon Koenig's one of their guys. Like they were throwing some of their top arms as well in this one, trying to stay in the game. But obviously Mississippi State came out on top in a very impressive fashion.
They did. I like what you said there, Jake, and kind of to piggyback over to you, Quinn, just to wrap up here. Libbert really was incredibly efficient. I think we should give him credit here because you see the final score, 7-3. Ole Miss fans are probably going to kind of swallow that one with a good bit of vinegar and, sadness. Libbert pitched 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, only a single earned run, but 50 pitches. Just comparatively speaking to Owen Kelly, who needed 54 pitches to struggle through 1 2/3 innings, gave up 5 earned runs. I think there's silver linings if you look here for Ole Miss, who I certainly don't think the season's just done for Ole Miss, especially not after a midweek loss. It's going to sting, though, for it being their heavy rival, in-state rival, and the Governor's Cup. That's got to suck for Rebs.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, but, I mean, if you weren't convinced about Will Libbert, I think you can be now. Obviously, worked through 3, I'm sure, tough innings in one of the bigger games of the year, coming off that exhausting series like Jake mentioned. And then Dom Decker was good as well. He's been swinging it over the last few weeks.
Decker's been hot.
Yeah, added 2 hits, another stolen base. Ole Miss has certainly found their leadoff guy. I think they've been playing around with a few guys, but Decker seems like the one who's going to sit there for a while. So
I think so, and I like that top 5 because they have guys who kind of balance one another's strengths and weaknesses out there. But yeah, Dom Decker being kind of that veteran presence at the top of the order, I do agree with you, man. He's been really, really strong lately and does just seem to get on base. He's one of those kind of pests at the top of the lineup that is just incredible. And man, I don't know that I've said it in a while, but playing Murray State there in a regional, last year, I think that Decker decided he quite likes playing in the state of Mississippi, and so it's suiting him well. One last note on this game before we move forward. On the Twitter machine, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I did call that Brendan Sweeney on Sunday afternoon on the way back from Starkville. I called Brendan Sweeney as the starter for the Governor's Cup final. And despite the fact that some guy whose username I don't recall was saying that Brendan Sweeney sucked and I shouldn't be excited, I'll take this as an opportunity to pat myself on the back and say 3 innings, no earnings, 4 punch-outs. I like it. The kid's humongous. Let him shove. All right. Let's move forward, though. A couple more upsets, guys. Shifting from the East Coast to Mississippi, let's go to California. The propaganda machine rolls on for me, Jake. USC loses again. Irvine up, USC down. Did I write this script or what?
Yeah, this was a weird game. I mean, so USC out-hits Irvine, who only had 3 hits on the game but had 4 runs, and USC obviously only scored 1. I don't know. Like we've kind of talked about USC in this way, like since the beginning of the year. Like we've worried about what their offense can do if their pitching doesn't carry them to the finish line, and like kind of repetitively at this point we've seen their offense like kind of not come through. And this is an Irvine team who is they're obviously not a bad team, but like the offense just has not been there for them all year. Like we had them. I had them. I felt really good about this Irvine team in the preseason, but like they're sitting here now with a losing record. I just mentioned like they're not hitting the ball like outside of like some of their top arms. Like their arms haven't been just like phenomenal this year. Like I don't know, this was a weird game. And then like when I look at the result, and like this is just the only thing that's on my mind right now. Me and Josh have been doing these bracketologies for a couple weeks now, so I can't help but like relate everything to it. USC, I think they're going into this game, they were a top 10 RPI team, and like I don't know exactly what Irvine's number was, but it was much lower than that. And then them taking this loss there does not help the resume of USC, which I think they had 0 quad 1 wins coming into this one, and obviously it doesn't affect that number, but like their resume's not shaping up. Their resume's not shaping up to be what we would think of being a top 10 RPI team.
I would agree with that sentiment. Quinn, I have a multitude of questions for you. First of all, I don't know how, with my propensity for giving you nicknames, I've not yet come to the fact that you write about the Big Ten. You're obviously Big Quinn.
Oh. I like it.
Big Quinn with the Big Ten. So USC, fraudulent, yes or no? I agree. I think I don't know how they can you talk about USC? What's your thoughts on this? Because you've seen a ton of them. Push back on me because I feel like for the last month I've been saying this team is false. This is a fraudulent team. They have 2 pitchers and a handful of nothing. Excuse me, 3 pitchers. I take that back. Weekend rotation is incredibly solid.
Weekend rotation is really good. I'm not going to disagree with you though. There's not a ton otherwise. I mean, Augie Lopez has been one of their better hitters of late. He's been on a pretty nice power run.
Sure.
Obviously didn't get to it today, but I mean, I keep saying today, this week, but bottom of their lineup has done next to nothing over the last, who knows how long, just a long time.
Sure.
They're getting everything from their top 5. Like Cadena has been decent. Adrian Lopez has been decent. Augie, obviously I mentioned. Takeuchi had a pretty good weekend. And then Basir is one of their leaders in extra base hits. Outside of that, it's not much. And I don't love the bullpen. I'm kind of out.
I understand. I mean, it's so crazy because it's almost Jake, was it Oregon State earlier in the year we were talking about if you could put that pitching staff with a it was Oregon State, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Quinn, what we talked about now, you may have heard the episode. If you could put Jake, will you pull up your mid-majors ranking?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay. So Quinn, the game here that I'm going to play with you is, at what point are you comfortable to say, okay, if you gave USC's pitching staff this team's offense, this is a top team. This is a much better consistent team.
That's a fun.
It's very fun. We played it with Oregon State earlier in the year, and it did not take long for us to be like, yeah, like 21, I think. So, Jake, give me number 20 on the mid-major ranking.
Well, number 20 happens to be South Florida this week. They took a tough loss, but they are a good mid-major team.
I was going to say, I mean, I think you give USC pitchers South Florida's offense, this could be, I mean, that's certainly more troublesome.
Yeah. Not terrible.
Yeah, I agree.
What about 15, Jake?
15 is Gonzaga, who has been on an absolute tear here recently.
I think that's the game.
West Coast hyper team. I love it. All right. 12, Jake.
12 is Cal Baptist. They've kind of hung around this range just because they haven't lost.
Okay. I'm not mad at that, but I think Gonzaga is my favorite so far. What about an 8?
8 is Missouri State. So I think we know the answer to that one.
Yeah, give me Mason Edwards and Caden Bogenpole. Let's do it.
That's just cool. Anyway, Quinn, the point is I wonder what this team can do, because this is coming from a guy who earlier this year I said, hey, Adrian Lopez has been playing well. I like Tevin Takeuchi as well. I think there's talent here. I need to see it more consistently. It worries me for USC, but let's not droll on about that. A tough loss for the Trojans and Eaters, though, all day. Anyway, last game we're going to talk about before we move on. Tulane picking up a 7-6 victory over Southern Miss. Quinn, I want to start with you here because you're in Josh's chair, and this is normally where I would go to Josh. The Southern Miss stock, I think, is not necessarily crumbled into dust, but I think we have a right at this point to say what's exactly happening in Hattiesburg, and what is this team specifically? Quinn, I'm curious, what were your thoughts on this game with Tulane, and what do you see the outlook being for Southern Miss long term?
I think Southern Miss probably goes as far as their vets take them. First time I talked about Southern Miss on a podcast, I called them old, and their vets had to carry them. And midweek's a midweek. I'm not going to overstate it, but I don't think they've been as dominant as you expect a team in a mid-major conference to be, especially one ranked 12 on D1 baseball. So I don't want to overreact to a midweek game, but Tulane's 23-23, so it's worth mentioning.
It's certainly worth mentioning. Jake, I want to go to you here because something interesting about this game that I've picked up on checking it out earlier today. A lot of homers. This was a lot of damage done by the long ball. I mean, what from either team? I mean, you talk about kind of the guys that I think of as being staples of Southern Miss. Joey Urban, Kyle Morrison, homers for them. Homer for Matthew Russo. But then on the other side of this equation, you've got Matthias Hodds and Trent Leolios, both with long balls as well. A lot of damage done via the home run, which honestly, not exactly the kind of style of ball I associate with Southern Miss. Do you think that this is an identity issue, Jake, or is it kind of just, look, we're trying to win at all costs. We're trying to win by any means. I don't really care how we do it. We're just trying to win.
I don't know that I would say like a sudden surge of homers being an identity problem. I think they would, like to add that on to what they have going on already. But like, I don't know. It is weird. This was another kind of strange loss for Southern Miss. Like they just kind of went back and forth, and then just obviously the pitching kind of gave it up there at the end. I don't know. I was expecting them to kind of easily win this game. Like Tulane, not a bad team by any means, but like this is a game that you would expect Southern Miss to win for sure. Like Quinn said, if you're going to regard them as a top, whatever top 15 team. Whatever you said their ranking was over there, but I don't know. We had Southern Miss as a host for the first time. I think this past bracketology, and this loss doesn't look good for us adding them into our host group. But we'll obviously see what happens this weekend. They have ULM, who's got some sneaky, pretty good wins. If as long as they take care of business this weekend, I'm not too worried about Southern Miss. But this is definitely a weird loss for sure.
Weird is probably the operative and best descriptor there for sure. All right, great stuff, guys. I think we should go ahead and move into Pick'em because we have a lot to talk about. What I'll say to start is this: a lot of good storylines rolling into Pick'em this week. Last weekend, Jake. You kind of killed it, dog. The Grim Reaper meme returned to the group chat. You're knocking on the doors. Jake, you went 6-2 last weekend to lead the pack. Josh was right behind you at 5-3. Drew finished right in the middle at 4-4. JB at 3-5. So our overall standings right now, we've got a pair of ties, Jake. Josh and I tied at the top at 48 and 39. You and JB are tied 44 and 43. Just like we drew it up, man. It's coming down to the wire. We the script we wrote at the beginning of the year is really paying off for us. This has been super dramatic.
I'm glad to see it too. I'm glad that I didn't fall too far behind in the standings. I was kind of trending that way last couple of weeks, but the one pick'em that I wasn't on the episode for, maybe I just used my own thoughts instead of listening to what everybody else has to say first.
That's what it is.
Could help. That's probably what it is, if I had to guess.
The crazy thing is that I feel like I have in mind, we're getting off topic here. The other major storyline for Pick'em this week, Jake, is going to be that we are going to see the Pick'em debut of Mr. Quinn Martin. He is also going to be joining the pool of guests. For those of you at home who've forgotten, as I like to say every week, the guests have really been struggling this year. 6-10 overall on the guest squad. Quinn, it is your responsibility not only to beef that score up, but to try to best them. I don't remember what their individual scores were, but I know Dodge was one of them who did the picks. I can't remember who else's pick. Salguero, I think. Yeah,
Salguero. Yep.
So Quinn, it is your job to boost them up as a group and to take them down as an individual. We're looking forward to your picks, of course. Furthermore, the last storyline. You all at home may be wondering, but where's Josh? But where's JB? Not to worry. Jake has Josh's picks. I have JB's picks. They are not going to go without selecting. I don't know how much Josh gave you in the realm of analysis, but JB was very terse. So JB will give you like a quick snippet of something.
Yeah, I got a little bit. It's like 1 or 2 sentences. We got a little bit from him.
Oh, okay. So, well, on the Josh versus JB scoreboard, Josh gets the point for that one. Anyway, let's get to the first series, guys. Mississippi State taking on Texas. I think early in the year, guys, this is one we would have circled and highlighted as being like, all right, this is going to be slugfest for the SEC. And honestly, at this point, like I said earlier, still a top 10 matchup. Both of these teams have been punched in the face recently. Who can it be to take almost a can't lose series for both? Quinn, I want to start with you. Thinking about Mississippi State and Texas, which player, which group, which factor is the biggest for this series in your mind?
I'm gonna on the Texas side, I'm gonna go with Ruger Riojas. It's been an odd couple of weeks for him, just given his track record, and I think this series could come down to whether or not he gets back to form.
That'll be interesting to see. I think Texas fans specifically would love it if he could, and that being Riojas. It's not like they've been without pitching leaders, but to have him in addition to those makes all the difference, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Dylan Blantis has been incredible, but you've got to have 3 good starting pitchers to win a series. So,
without a doubt. Jake, on the flip side of that coin, man, let's talk about Mississippi State. When you look at Mississippi State's team, what's going to happen from a player, from a group of players? What are they going to have to do in order to slay this Longhorn beast here?
I think, in short, I think they're just going to have to pitch a little bit better than they did last weekend. Like they swept LSU, which is awesome, but like it was the offense that got them that sweep, and like the starting pitching especially didn't really help the lineup out too much. So I mean that's going to have to be much better against a team like Texas. No knock to LSU there, but like the way Texas is playing, the way they hit, like the starting pitching is just going to have to be a little bit better. But to talk about the offense a little bit, we love to talk about the Ace Reeses, the Noah Sullivans, the Aiden Teals, but like Drew, you mentioned it earlier, like Jacob Parker is like slowly and quietly becoming like one of the best hitters on this team. Like he's got an OPS over 1,000. He's got 8 jacks at this point, 34 RBIs, which is like top 5 or 6 or so on this team. Like he's walking, he's cutting, he's not striking out too much to be a freshman. Like he's doing everything that you would hope that a guy in the middle of your order is going to be able to do. So shout out to Jacob Parker. I hope he stays hot at Texas. And then back to the pitching just a little bit. I saw we could see some Ryan McPherson action this weekend. I think I read that somewhere. I don't know how much stock to take in it, but I wouldn't expect him to necessarily start again yet. But it would be cool to see him back in action this weekend.
I want to piggyback off something you said really quickly about the Mississippi State pitchers. Shout out to my boy Luke Maddox. He actually gave me a really interesting statistic that I did not pick up on until Sunday en route to Starkville. The Bulldogs gave up a 3 spot in the opening inning of each of the 3 games against LSU. That is not great. You give Texas that kind of lead. Now, granted, this is a lead you gave to LSU. Texas has been lethal. LSU has been dangerous. Texas has been lethal. You give them that kind of lead early, I don't know that you're going to have an opportunity to take it back. But remains to be seen. Certainly McPherson coming back in any aspect, I'm with you, Jake. I think it would help a ton. But all we can do left is pick them. I'm going to ask you, Jake, if you would give Josh's selection and his logic for this one first.
I will. Josh says he is going to be picking Texas. 2 elite pitching staffs going at it. I'll take the cop-out answer and go with the home team. So he's going to go with Texas. I'm also, if you don't, I guess I can just go next since I'm kind of going into it there. I'm going to go Texas as well. Mississippi State, they're one of the teams right now competing for host spots. I think me and Josh had them hosting in our last bracketology. The one before it, we did not have it, and I don't think a loss at Texas would necessarily hurt them too much, but they're going to need to finish the season strong to guarantee that host spot. But I am going to pick Texas. I think the pitching gets it done. They get to come back home. I like them there.
Let's see. I'll pick for JB. JB is also going to go Texas, so that's going to stack 3 on the board for the Longhorns early. JB's rationale, I think they're too hot. That's what he said. So there you go. Short and sweet, like I said. And then, Quinn, I will let you pick last. I think I'm going to try to play this game a little bit, and I'll be risky, and I'll take Mississippi State. The reason I'll do that is because I think they really need it. Now, granted, this is incredibly dangerous, probably the toughest series that they will have faced this season, but they need it very badly. Like you said, Jake, the bats have been hot. If the pitching can bring it together and even just match what Texas has been doing, I think that'll give them a shot. And admittedly, I know this is going to be a risky pick, but I think I need to make those because we're tied at the top. Quinn, round us off here. Who are you picking and why?
I'm glad I wasn't going to be the only one. I'm also going to go Mississippi State. I'm going to play the game a little bit.
Attaboy.
And I trust Mississippi State a little bit. I mean, Texas has been undeniable. I've been on here saying Texas may be the second best team in the country, but I want to go back to what you said, Drew, a little earlier. They got kicked in the teeth, and I think they're showing a little bit of fire right now. This is a series they need to push them back into hosting or maybe stay in hosting contention.
Sure.
So I think the pitching staff makes an improvement, and Mississippi State takes it 2-1 probably.
Okay, love it. Hey, I love it. We don't normally ask these folks, Jake, to pick the final score, but I love that Quinn did it. He's going for extra credit. Quinn, I do want to stick with you. Before we came on the air, you were telling me that we share a very similar bit of propaganda pushing, which I suspect is going to come into play as we talk about the Big 12 series of the week with Arizona State taking on UCF in Florida. Quinn, what do you think is going to be the deciding factor in this series?
I think it's going to come down to Arizona State's pitching. If Arizona State's on, I don't think UCF's going to score many more than 5-6 runs in a game. Carlone has been incredible. Klecker has been really good. I don't see the UCF offense taking much from Arizona State if they're on.
I love it. I love it. Jake, want to go to you really quickly. We've talked a lot about UCF being kind of one of those upper tier Big 12 teams. I think at this point, tiers is kind of the only thing we could say about the Big 12. I think I know in my brain who the top team in the Big 12 is. But then there's a tier underneath it, just kind of right nipping at the heels. UCF and Arizona State are both in that tier, though, Jake.
Yeah, I agree. And for UCF, Mateo Gray, Matt Souser, and Camden Wicker, they have the talent. They just haven't, since Souser's come back, he's been a little bit down. Gray's been solid. Camden Wicker was awesome last weekend. But that's kind of what they have to go off of most of the time. Like, they have really strong three bats, and Williamson, John Smith, and Zach Skinner, but the bottom half of the lineup is going to have to get going this weekend if they're going to keep up with this Arizona State offense that is really, really good top to bottom. It's Hairston, Contrades, Toigo, Smaldino, and the entire lineup. I would put them up against a lot of teams out there in the country right now. And then the two Coles going on the weekend, Carlone and Klecker, really good bookend duo on Friday and Sunday. So I mean, it's gonna be fun. I mean, I like I said, I think UCF needs to hit, but the pitching I think is going to be fun to watch on both sides.
Word. It's almost like you heard us talking, because Jake, I said the exact same thing. I'd put this offense up against everything but maybe the top 5 offenses in the country. So I'm right there with you. Quinn, why don't you lead us off with your selection here, sir? ASU, UCF, who are you taking?
I alluded to it a little bit in my breakdown, but I'm going to go Arizona State. Don't think the UCF bats are going to catch up.
Word. I will go ahead with JB. JB had a very simple analysis here. Forks up. He's going Sun Devil, so that's 2 on the board for ASU. I'll piggyback on that and continue the snowballing. It's ASU. I've said it before. I'm so high on this team. I've had them in my top 10 at times, and I think that I have become a little more rational with this team as we've gone on. But you know what? This ain't a time for ration. This is a time for action. ASU all the way. Horns up. Jake, let's hear from Josh, and then let's hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, Josh is going Arizona State too. His notes are they fared better than most on the road, and the offense is heating up big time lately. I think this weekend will cement them as a clear number 2 in the Big 12. Shout out to Drew's propaganda machine.
Hey,
And just to go ahead and complete it, I'm going Arizona State too. I'll be boring, but I just think the lineup is deeper, and they seem to find what works on the mound as well. I talked about those two guys pitching, and then with I think it was Taylor Penn and then Colin Linder out, kind of the duo in that second game. There's a few teams out there that's kind of going to that. They take a starter out and they put him in that like long relief role, and it just works. Yeah. And I think that that's good spot for Linder. But they're both of these two teams. They're tied with each other in second place in the Big 12, so big implications this weekend. But I am going to go with Arizona State.
It is going to be a pivotal series for the Big 12 for sure. Let's move on, though, from the Big 12. Talk about another huge showdown in the SEC. We could have circled this one again from the jump. Auburn and Texas A&M. College Station is going to be rocking this weekend, guys. I hate that Josh isn't here to talk about this pivotal matchup for his Tigers. But, Jake, I think you will do a fine job standing in for Josh and telling us what you think the major X factor for this series is going to be.
Yeah, I'll stand in for Josh and talk about Auburn a little bit. But this series, this series is going to be a dogfight, man. This is a really good two team. This is number 4 versus number 7 in our most recent rankings. Like A&M second in the SEC standings. Auburn's only a couple games behind them. Just a big one in the conference, and you're going to get good pitching from Auburn. Andres Alvarez, Jake Marciano, Alex Petrovic is going to sling the pill. Jackson Sanders in long relief, another guy who's had starting experience kind of in that long relief role wherever they need him. He's doing a really good job with that, and the guys in the pen are going to be relentless and they're going to have to be against that A&M offense. It's going to be pushing them just as hard as they're pitching it.
I think so. Quinn, this is some squads, man. Auburn's offense, we talked about it all season long, how we think that if their offense could catch up to the pitching, this could be a threat of a team. Now lately, as Josh has been saying, the offense is lifting each other. We're seeing guys step up from a game-to-game situation. We're seeing different guys step up and lead the team. I think this offense is as here as it's going to get. But Texas A&M has had a squad of just goons at the plate all year long. Who's it going to be, man? What do you think the outlook for this one is?
It's going to be tough. I think this is going to be a grinder of a series, especially with A&M being at home. It's going to be tough. The A&M crowd's going to be loud. The Auburn pitching is going to really have to lock down. The A&M lineup has been on just a white hot heater right now. Grahovac's raking. Jorian Wilson's getting talked about all the time. Hakopian's back. Sorrell's the star. You got to slow him down. You got to slow the crowd down. And I think the Auburn pitching staff may be the right staff to do that, given their kind of more like pitchability.
Yeah,
not just going to blow stuff by you. Just kind of going to slow the game down a little bit.
I like that point a lot. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do to switch it up against A&M, and I think that could be a deciding factor. Quinn, interesting point. Jake, let's get the boring answer out of the way first. Go ahead and hit us with Josh's pick and with his logic.
Yeah, to everyone's surprise, Josh is going with Auburn. He says unstoppable object meets immovable force. Give me the immovable force of the Auburn pitching staff. War Eagle from Josh.
I love it. And he threw in the War Eagle. Jake, what are you thinking here, buddy?
I'm going to go with A&M. I think this offense is just so good, and they just come off a weekend where they just beat those really strong arms at Florida. I think they outslug Auburn. Getting to play this at College Station also helps. I think they hit their way to a series win this weekend.
I think so. Well, I'll go with JB. JB said, like I said earlier in the season, we ride. He's going A&M as well. So the eternal rivalry between Josh and JB roars on. Quinn, curious what you're thinking for this one, man.
I'm going to go with Auburn. I think I'm going to – well, one, my fiance might be a little unhappy with me if I don't pick Auburn.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to stick with my prediction of the Auburn pitching staff slowing down the game a little bit, using their changeups.
I like that. That's good logic. But I didn't make it this far to become kind of a backwater A&M fan for nothing. Cue up the bubble machines. I'm taking A&M to break the tie there on the graphic. It's going to be interesting though, man. What a series! SEC is not for bad series this weekend, fellas. It's going to be loaded stuff. Jake, want to stick with you here because we're going to get some of your mid-major darlings punching each other in the mouth. Jacksonville State, Missouri State. What's the X factor for this one, pal?
Yeah, these are a couple teams that I don't necessarily want to say like heading in opposite directions, but just had very different weekends. And like I said, heading in opposite directions sounds a little bit harsh, but Jack State, they're sitting at 18-3 in conference play with their only series loss coming a couple weeks ago at Liberty, which was the only decided in those losses by like 3 total runs. And then Missouri State, who was just rolling through conference play, ran into the big blue foot of Louisiana Tech and took a shocking sweep in Ruston in that one. This series, though, for me, kind of compares a little bit to the Auburn A&M series in a way where like it's likely going to be really strong pitching on one side and really strong offense on the other. Like Jack State's rotation with Eli Pillsbury, Bo Bryans, and Cash Stephen have been just outstanding all year long for them. They got a few strong bats as well: Jackson Pate, Grayson Ashe, Caleb Johnson, Brady Thomas. But they don't really stand up too much to this Missouri State offense. I know they had a down weekend last weekend, but like they're either first or second in the CUSA in just about every offensive stat you can find. They got like 7 or 8 really strong hitters, Bogan Paul, Curry Sutherland, Gabe Rossler, Carter Bergman, just to name a few of them. But like, as long as they don't have to face the La Tech arms again, they're gonna be really good. And I don't think you can deny those hitters. And they got a pretty good thing going on the rotation too. I like it. It's gonna be a fun series.
All right, Jake. Well, I'll let you lead us off, man. Who are you thinking for this one?
I am going to pick Missouri State. I went back and forth. I just think they bounced back at home. They're 17-1 at home this year. I know Jack State's also got the record, but like they're 17-1 at home. The offense is good enough to hit against just about anybody. Jack State, they have a pretty firm lead in the CUSA standings right now, but I think Mo State gets a little bit closer this weekend. I'm going to pick them to win.
Well said. How about Josh? What's he leaning here? I have a feeling. I'm just going to hush.
Josh is going Jacksonville State. He's a big Jack State
Really?
guy. His notes are elite pitching meets elite offense, like we just talked about. So give me Steve Beezer and the boys to cement themselves as a 2 seed and the CUSA champs.
Quinn, where are you leaning here?
I'm going to go with my Gamecocks, not my real Gamecocks, but the other ones. I'm going to go Jack State. I'm going to say they just pitch it. I think I'm a little lower on Missouri State, just given Caden Bogenpole hasn't been great this year.
Right.
If for somebody with so much power, he only has 5 home runs, just slamming the ball on the ground right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go with Jack State. Keep it rolling. Go Cox.
Word. JB, I love JB's analysis here, Jake. Tell me who this sounds like when I say it. The analysis says Missouri State, honestly, vibes. Shout out JB. So that's another one for Missouri State on the board. Drew to break the tie again. Golly Bill. I think I'm going to go Jack State because I don't need Josh to lose. I don't need him to have any more separation from me, and we already have two separate picks here, so I need to mind that. For what it's worth, I do like Missouri State at home. These bats. Quinn made a great point. Bogenpole has not looked the part that we had elevated him to in the preseason. The rest of that team has done a fabulous job in kind of lifting him despite that lack of impact on his behalf. This is a gamer pick, and I've got to play the game, as bad as I hate to say it. Quinn, let's turn our focus back to the SEC. Ole Miss and Arkansas. couple teams that, again, I think at the onset of the year, we would have had a radically different opinion of what this is going to look like. Alas, 3/4 of the way through the season, now I think we have a much clearer picture of a different outlook for the Rebels and for the Razorbacks. When you think about this series, what springs to mind as being pivotal for either Ole Miss or Arkansas?
I think the Arkansas offense needs to get going a little bit more. They didn't do a ton against a, albeit pretty bad, Missouri team. Obviously, the pitching wasn't great on Saturday for them, but they need to hit, and they need – I've said it before. They need the bottom of the lineup to get going. TJ Pompey has been on and off all year. Nolan Souza has been on and off all year. Kuhio Aloy, you never know if he's going to strike out 4 times or hit 4 home runs. Like they just need more out of their offense and pitching staff. Honestly, they're just right in the middle there of really good to maybe not so good.
I think so. I got to see a little bit of Arkansas today, and again, the bats just not where you want them to be. It's getting suspect, and I think Ole Miss is a team that can take advantage of that, especially like we said earlier in the episode. The top of that lineup for Ole Miss is looking really, really good and really balanced, considering it's spread a lot of talent over 5 guys. Quinn, we will start with you to make your selection, though. Ole Miss and Arkansas, who do you like?
I'm going to go with Ole Miss, I think. I like what their offense has been doing. Owen Pano maybe starting to break out. I've been waiting for that for like 2 years now. Maybe it's starting to come, maybe not. But I think I'm going to say he's the X factor, and I think he can help lead Ole Miss to a series win.
I like it. Jake, let's start with Josh on this one, and then we'll get your thoughts. Ole Miss and Arkansas.
He is going to go Ole Miss. He says Arkansas has given me no reason to believe in them besides the Bama series, and the Rebs still looked really good last weekend despite the loss. Put me down for a Hunter Elliott bounce back week and 3 Tristan Bassetta bombs as well.
3 Tristan Bassetta bombs. It's like you took the words out of my mouth. Jake, what do you think of this one?
You know, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go Arkansas. Like, first of all, a little bit off topic. I'm not a fan of Arkansas's website. I don't know how much time you guys have spent on that Arkansas like schedule and like pulling up their stats. It's just I'm just not a fan of it. I just need to get that out there. But I am going to pick Arkansas. Just Ole Miss traveling to that environment after losing that tough home series just doesn't feel great to me. It could be a close one. I think Arkansas could put together enough strong performances to pull this one out.
I'm with you. I don't like that website at all. This is strange. I'll pick for JB first. JB said he sees this one as a bit of a coin flip. So Jake, I think that's interesting that that he sees it that way and then goes Arkansas with you, buddy. It's going to be interesting because I'm leaning Ole Miss. I think I'm going to take Ole Miss. I just, from watching Arkansas today, seeing them in a midweek look as wishy-washy at the plate. I can't think of a better an adjective than wishy-washy for them. They just don't look – this does not look like the Arkansas team I watched last year in super regionals thinking this could be a national champion. This looks so far from that squad. I will take Ole Miss, who I think I've been very impressed with of late through the year. I do agree with JB, though, that I think it could be a coin flip. I think this is certainly going to be a split series. If either team can pull off a sweep here, I think that may actually be one of the most impressive feats of the weekend, because I think these may be, again, I don't want to kind of go back to the cliche, but really neither of these teams can stand to lose this late in the series, or in the season, excuse me, especially with Ole Miss kind of, as you said, Jake, in the hosting conversation for regional. Jake, let's talk another Big 12 matchup, TCU and Oklahoma State. Being brief here, Jake, I think that these are teams who I'd comfortably put in that second tier of kind of Big 12 threats. I really like the bats for both of these squads. The pitchers have had some bright lights, have had some strong performances. More often than not, it is the arms that let them down, though. So, Jake, in this series, TCU and Oklahoma State, who are you taking and why?
Well, first of all, Drew, didn't I ask for your permission last time that I was on here to start talking more about TCU again with some of these top Big 12 teams? I believe I was heckled a little bit by Josh and JB, or they at least laughed in my face for it. But they're here now. TCU's here now. They're tied for third place in the Big 12.
I love that you're keeping receipts, Jake.
I am gonna pick TCU. They've had back-to-back strong weekends. We got to see some Tommy Lepore. How huge is that for them that he's getting to come back? I don't think at least for like the next week or two, this probably doesn't necessarily affect like the rotation. I don't know that he's going to like start right away, or he'll probably at least be on some kind of pitch count, whatever. But just him being back and just his presence and him being able to come out of the bullpen at any moment is going to have pressure put on whatever team they're going up against, knowing that they have him in their back pocket to run out for an inning or two. But last weekend, everything kind of looked good for him against Houston. Strauss, Snyder, Brunson didn't even really have the strongest weekends. It was kind of just like everybody else. Jack Bell looked great. Colton Griffin, Brady Dallimore, Rob Leadington, all the guys looked really good at the plate. And then the starters also got it done. So I think they keep rolling. And if they, this weekend could put me all the way back on the hype train with TCU.
We'll see what happens. For what it's worth, you were calling out the receipts earlier. JB said he's going to take TCU, and he says, I think they keep bouncing back. So, Jake, you might have set the record straight for these boys. What about Josh? What's he thinking?
Josh is going Oklahoma State. He says both of these teams need this series badly for postseason purposes, but I'll trust home field advantage and the high-flying Oklahoma State offense to overwhelm the recently heating up TCU arms.
Jake, I don't want to be a hater here, and I'm not gonna, but I will say I think Oklahoma State's offense is just too high right now. Aiden Miola has looked like a man on legitimate fire. Like, you could tell me he is like suffering from severe burns at all times just because of the way he's played in the last couple of weekends. Colin Ritchie is a catalyst of all catalysts, can set an entire game to a different tune with one at bat. When he's on, let me rephrase that. I do like the home field advantage. I think Oklahoma State's going to take it, despite the fact that TCU's pitchers have looked really good. I'm going to butcher his name, Jake. Is it Lance Davis? Is that correct?
Yes.
For TCU. He has been exceptional on Sundays, has really anchored that team when they need him. So I don't want to go without shouting him out, but I'm going to take Oklahoma State. And in an added benefit, that keeps me and Josh pretty close in terms of win-loss. So I got to consider that as well. Quinn, round us off, break the tie. Oklahoma State and TCU.
I am struggling big time. I could see it going either way. I feel very 50-50 about this. I think the Oklahoma State pitching staff will have a better weekend. But and I am on record as saying TCU is bad. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
But I did say it. So I don't want to completely walk it back, and I like the home field advantage. Let's go Oklahoma State.
All right.
I don't feel good about it, though.
Oh, I hear you. This is, like I said, it's tough. And it's really kind of reminiscent of this next series we're going to talk about, where it's clearly kind of that second tier, but still very, very good teams. But we're going to switch back to the SEC for the fourth of four matchups in the SEC we're going to talk about. And Quinn, I'm going to let you lead it off because you have not yet gotten to pick between a team and then the flummoxing mystery of coin flips that is Dr. Florida and Mr. Gators. I'm curious, what do you think the outlook's going to be in this one, sir?
I think only God knows. I mean, it could be a sweep either way. It could be 2-1 either way. Could end in a tie. I mean, God only knows. Let's roll Florida. I don't know. Nobody knows. Let's say Brendan Lawson gets hot again and hits maybe over 200 this week. Let's go Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
No, Quinn, you got some of the you're going back to backs with some funny comments last weekend when you talked about I think it was Jorian Wilson, I think it
Jordan
was,
Wilson.
and you were like
I love
I have
him.
one more, I have one comment to make about Jorian Wilson. I love him, and I thought you were just going to leave it at that
I did
and just
too.
say that you love him. That
Oh
was
man,
great.
Quinn, that was so good. God only knows. All right. Oh man, Jake, can you talk for a minute? I need my head to stop hurting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a similar sentiment though that with Quinn. Like
Whew.
the top of my notes for this one, I have on here like, do we have to pick this one? This isn't going to be fun. Like the series is going to be fun, of course, but predicting a winner is not going to be fun. And like I know the Jekyll and Hyde thing is, but like it's as real as something like that can get. You know, Oklahoma's kind of gone through a little bit of that too. You know, they'll win one, lose one, win two, lose two. You just don't really know what you're going to get from either of these teams on either side of the ball. So I mean, picking this one is going to be it's not going to be an easy task.
No. Well, let's start with Josh, and then we'll roll through to you in terms of picks and logic.
Josh is going Florida. Way more. He says way more talented and due for a series win at this point. I think I'm also going to pick Florida. I think just the talent, and I think just kind of the. You know, there's not much certainty in either of these teams, but, you know, if there's one thing that is certain, it's that Aiden King is going to give you a good start on Friday. And, like, that can't really be said the same for any of their other starters, even Liam Peterson with as talented as he is. But if I can trust my Friday guy to go in and give me, I mean, you could almost bet he's going to give you 7 innings, 1 run or less. I mean, it's like automatic at this point. You have to feel good about your chances the rest of the weekend. So I'm going Florida.
It is kind of just we can bank on a quality start, if I can use a fantasy baseball term. I mean, we're looking at least 6 innings with 2 or less earned runs, a couple punch outs. That's what you're going to get from Aiden King, barring something that I was just about to say, I don't think Oklahoma can do it. So I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm going to take Florida for sure. And then JB says it is the good doctor in this one, and he's going to take Florida as well. But I'm going to not push. I think that how interesting would it be if Florida could at any point maybe rein in some of this wildness and use it to their advantage? I don't know how that could go about, but man, what if it's some Hyde energy with this Florida team that sends them on a roll rather than the stability of the good Dr. Florida? What if Mr. Gators rears them beautiful chompers and starts by? I don't know. I think that Florida has so much talent that they're going to figure it out at some point. I just don't know that if it's not going to be too late this season for it to really matter. We'll find out. Finally, Jake, walk us through, because we've got one more, and we're going to go back to the mid-major rankings, because the first thing I want from you is where do these two teams fall on the most recent mid-major rankings? I also want your X factor between Louisiana Tech, Dallas Baptist. Another very interesting one. These have been teams kind of on the peripheral, if not outright included in our top 25 teams for Prospects Live.
Yeah, for my mid-major rankings, La Tech, they were down a little bit. They were down to 24. They've been as low as I think they've been as low as 29 or 28 or something. They've been playing better as of late, and obviously the last big weekend, I bumped them up to 18 in the top 20 now, and that it dropped Missouri State down just outside of that top 7. I think there's 7 or 8 really, really good mid-major teams, and I just got Missouri State just on the outside there, and then Dallas Baptist right behind them at 9. So this is number 9 versus number 18 in my rankings. But last weekend, it was just an awesome weekend for Louisiana Tech against Missouri State. For them to sweep one of the best mid-major teams in the country, which was something that I don't think anybody expected. DBU's also coming off a pretty strong weekend, especially at the plate. But their pitching has been rough. They really haven't pitched well as a team this year. Liam Watt, Ryan Borberg, Jared Jenkins was the rotation last weekend. They've kind of mixed some guys in and out, but they had some decent outings. Just as a whole, they haven't been consistent enough. And then the pitching side for La Tech, Declan Dahl, Hudson Rowan, Landon Fontenot, they've all been pretty good all year, but they were all really, really good against Missouri State in that sweep. But and then offensively on both sides, they all have some hitters. I think DBU's lineup really, really, it's just a really deep lineup, similar to Missouri State's lineup. Jake Bennett, Luke Pettit, Ben Trine, Cooper Neville, Dylan Cup. It just kind of keeps going with that lineup. It's really just relentless. I got to see him in person a few weeks ago, or it's probably going on a month ago now at Delaware, and just to see all those hitters in person was fun to watch. And I guess I can just make my pick. I'm going to go with Dallas Baptist. I picked La Tech in an early series. I think it was like week 2. We had them on the pick 'em against Southern Miss, and I went with La Tech as kind of an underdog. So I do like La Tech. I have my feelings haven't changed too much. I just think this DBU offense is going to be too much for them to handle.
I don't mean to pile on, but yeah, DBU's offense has got some absolute, studs. I think they're not being talked about enough, as a matter of fact, in terms of the draft conversation, just for what it's worth. I'm going to take DBU as well. Like you said, respect to La Tech. What was it you said earlier about them? You had the line of the episode until Quinn came through with the Florida line a minute ago. What was it you said?
I think it was the Missouri State ran into the big blue foot of La Tech.
I love that. Truly a great line. I think the big blue foot is going to stay on the ground this upcoming weekend, though. I'll go ahead and pick for JB as well. JB said DBU's bats get it done, so he's with us there. What about Josh? What's Josh leaning here?
He's going Dallas Baptist. He says neither of these teams have a single Q1 win this year, so it's hard to get a real feel for who can step up here. But La Tech seems to die on the road a little bit, so I'm going to go with the Patriots.
All right. And then Quinn, round us off, man. Your first pick 'em, you get the last pick.
I'm going to stay with you guys. I'm going to go roll with the DBU bats. That lineup is pretty loaded, and I don't think La Tech's going to stop them this weekend.
Wow, two sweeps to round us off there, and that matches the earlier sweep with Arizona State. So it's going to be an interesting week of pick'em, boys. I think it's just a testament to kind of at this point in the season, no matter where you're playing, no matter what conference, it's all very relative, and it's all very, very important as it comes to hosting. A great episode. Thank you all. Some killer lines in here too, man. All-timer from Jake, followed up by another, like Jake, you said a minute ago, a second straight episode with a banger from Quinn. Quinn, thank you. Jake, if you would, sir, first of all, the first thing I need you to plug is tell the folks at home where they can watch the conference tournament game this weekend, and then tell the folks where they can find you between our episodes of College Baseball Now and what's working.
So I don't know the exact link, but you can go to arcadianights.com and go to our baseball schedule on there and scroll down. There will be a watch tab. So that's where our games will be streamed at this weekend. I hope everyone listening here tunes in 3:30 Eastern time on Friday to watch us play.
Very good.
Misericordia. But you can follow me at Jake Barge on Twitter. I got the mid-major rankings coming out every week at this point. It's really not an easy task ever. There's so many teams deserving to be in that top 30, but it's been a lot of fun getting to dive into them and getting to learn more about them. And then on the other content side, I do have a live looks that should be on its way out pretty soon. It's going to feature UCLA and Michigan and Rutgers that I've gotten to see over the last few weeks. So be on the lookout for that on the site.
Absolutely. It's going to be some great stuff. Quinn, thank you again for taking the time out to join us for a second straight episode. Tell the folks at home what you're working on and where they can find you on socials between episodes.
I'll be on Twitter, Quinn_Martin17. Still going to work on that My Guys piece that I talked about over the weekend. And then I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but little group project coming out. Going to be writing some little blurbs on some mock draft picks that we made over the last few days. So good bit of content coming out from my end over the next few days.
A lot of Quinn coming out. If you like Quinn, check out the site because it's going to have a lot of him. Quinn, do you want to plug your Letterboxd to the folks at home? I love it. It's one of my favorite sites on the internet now.
I don't remember what my username is, so I might have to save that for next time.
Fair enough. Quinn has good taste in movies and is always down to discuss. If you want to hit him up about baseball or flicks on the Twitter machine, I'm sure he'd love to chat with you. Yes, prospectslive.com. Membership starts as low as $7 a month. You can get all kinds of incredible content featuring the mock drafts, the live looks, stuff for your baseball card habit, If you want to see your favorite team's top prospects, their system, they got it. If you need help with your fantasy team, boy, oh boy, have they got it. The best in the biz in terms of fantasy is at prospectslive.com. Tools, tips, tricks, lists, all kinds of stuff. You can find it at prospectslive.com. I encourage you to do that. If you want to follow me for whatever reason, you may do so on the Twitter machine, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, at Drew is okay. Like Quinn alluded to, we have got not only live looks, not only a mock draft, top 200 is updating, top combined list is updating. Drew has been to games. I need to get a live looks piece out in 6 years whenever I can find a spare second to breathe. It's going to be some good stuff as well. I hope you guys enjoy it. Lots of stuff coming out, as well as want to give a quick teaser to all of you listening to this or watching this. Tomorrow, we are going to have a special bonus episode of College Baseball Now. So we'd love it if you guys would check that out as well. It is myself interviewing a player from the SEC. So I'll let you guys think about that one. In the comments down below, would love it if you could tell us who your pick is going to be in the Auburn-Texas A&M series. I'd love to hear it in your comments down below. For sure, check that out. Again, thank you so much for joining us, Quinn. You've done excellent. Want to send a shout-out and a hello at home to both Josh and JB. We know that they are doing finals. They've got projects. They've got all kinds of college nonsense going on, so we're going to send our love to them, send our well wishes to them. On behalf of Quinn, on behalf of Jake, I'm Drew. Want to remind you to be nice to yourself, be nice to each other, and we'll see you next time on College Baseball.